This is EC3, and you are listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. I just realized that this is a show about a wrestling podcast on the radio.
Yes.
Isn't that
I
interesting?
Guess.
It's kind of it's like Vince McMahon's dream. It's like a wrestling novella about a wrestling show.
Boy, you make my head hurt. Let's.
But did In Your House make your head hurt?
No, no. I had fun with it. Bringing back the set from the old WWF In Your House.
Oh, beautiful touch.
That was fantastic. Even with Gargano coming out of the door like he was walking through his house.
that was funny.
Fantastic.
That was really funny. They had a lot of creativity with a lot of the skits that they had provided.
They really did.
And that's what I was talking about, Stu. That's Vince McMahon's dream. It was always to have wrestling as be-all entertainment. And you've seen it since WrestleMania.
But that's been his goal for the last 40 years.
Yes, and I think he kind of achieved that, or at least his product, his child of his original dream, had finally seen the daylight there.
Well, let's not get too crazy. I mean, again, In Your House was a staple of WWF programming back in the mid '90s.
I just don't think you're giving
it was
enough
one of those
credit
things.
To the concept.
Well,
man.
and it was the precursor to what we call, I guess, the B-level pay-per-views that we have today, like Backlash, like Extreme
definitely, because they needed to make more money because they were losing gates.
Back then, you did not have a WWE network. You had only the big four pay-per-views, and they were truly pay-per-views. You had to pay your cable or satellite provider to get Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. So they had to have something to kind of bridge the gap, and so they came up with this In Your House idea.
Yeah, man, I'm totally
it
familiar with In Your House.
It was good. So I love the use of the set. I loved having Todd Bettengill back doing some of his shtick. Promoting the 900 number.
Exactly.
And then we don't have 900 numbers anymore. Did you ever call a 900 number when you were a kid? I think I called Gene Okerlund's like twice. And
what did you get? Was it like a tape recording?
Grounded for wasting my mom and dad's money.
Did you feel like you wasted your money though?
I was disappointed. The matches kind of went a little up and down, I would say. Match of the night, I think it's tough to say between Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, and Finn Balor, Damian Priest. I would give the edge to Lee and Gargano.
No, sir. Way off.
What was your match of the night?
This is ladies' night, man.
Talking about the six woman tag?
No. I'm talking about Shirai rising to the
top.
top.
Yeah. Well, that too. That was really
easily
good.
Match of the night. The crowning achievement. They looked good. Charlotte Flair doing what Charlotte Flair's supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, I get that too.
Look, I'm happy for our boy Keith Lee, and I'm glad that that everybody else had a great match, but it wasn't the match of the night. The three ladies were the match of the night.
Okay. Yes, congratulations to Io Shirai. She is now your new NXT Women's Champion. So maybe we won't see Charlotte Flair on all three brands, although I'm not going to hold my breath to that.
Well, I mean,
because there is a point of oversaturation.
Yeah, but how important are the ratings to NXT? That's what I want to. Or I guess it's not even how important are the ratings. Let me rephrase that question. How important are the ratings to NXT? Rather, how important are the ratings to USA Network that night? I know the WWE would like to win, but if they're hitting enough numbers on a weekly basis, then they're doing their job.
Right, and I don't know what USA Network expects from NXT. Now, understand, NXT has the head-to-head competition with AEW, but okay. So now I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this. Are you saying Charlotte equals ratings?
Yeah. I think for most viewers,
you don't think it's going to get to a point of oversaturation?
It already has passed that point, but she is so good. I don't mind watching her go.
Yes, I don't dispute that for one second.
And putting her in the ring with Shirai was amazing because I wasn't expecting to see that.
Right. I like the match. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is going forward.
I don't think we'll see her on NXT that often because she's going to want to be with Andrade because they're a real life couple. So.
True. And she is a SmackDown superstar.
Yeah.
At least I think. I think she's SmackDown.
Well, I mean, right now she was NXT champion, so who knows?
Well, she was on all three brands.
Exactly.
She was showing up on Raw.
Is she the wild card?
No, they don't have a wild card. They have what was that? The invitation? I don't know. Anyway.
The Grand Invitational to
every quarter someone can
quarter past a full moon except for the new moon that will come every 6 months
on days that
end in 2.
Yeah, something like that. What did you think of Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream?
That's my honest opinion.
I'll be honest. I was a little. I mean, it was fine, but I guess I was a little disappointed. I mean, and maybe it's just
we had just discussed
expectations.
We just discussed this last week. It was like this is going to be the norm for a little while. It was cinematic wrestling, and they got it right sometimes, and other times the WWE was passable, but this one set them back a little bit.
And as I said, I was happy for Damian Priest. I know Finn Balor got the win, but Damian Priest looked really good in that match.
Oh, yeah. I was still surprised that he lost, though. I was expecting Finn Balor maybe to take the loss. I figured it wouldn't hurt him as much.
I get why, because I think they're going to slow burn towards Finn versus Adam for the title.
Oh, but does Adam stay for a chase if he loses, or do they just send him up to the main roster? Because he's obviously...
I think that would be the thing. Once Adam loses, he goes to Raw or SmackDown.
Where would you like?
They're already simmering a Undisputed Era breakup. So.
Where would you like to see him go? You think he belongs on Raw to go against guys like Seth Rollins, or you think he belongs on SmackDown where he would be facing guys like Daniel Bryan?
I think he'll do fine either way.
So no opinion, Stu.
No, because it's Raw and SmackDown. They're interchangeable. Quite honestly.
You really think so?
A little bit. It's getting that way.
I would rather
Different
watch Raw
rosters.
than SmackDown. I like AJ Styles, but I don't like him that much.
I watch Raw more just because I'm home on Mondays more than I am on Fridays. So.
That too. It's convenient.
But anyway, it was a fun show, NXT TakeOver. So we'll see what goes from there. We didn't even talk about Karrion Kross and Tommaso Ciampa. Kross looked his vicious best, kind of reminiscent of what he did in Impact Wrestling back in the day.
I guess it's like that's expected because I've already seen his work. So it's just kind of like when everybody else is going to take notice of it, it'll happen.
Well, and I'll give NXT credit. They didn't really change his character much.
No,
it's the character we saw in Impact, in Lucha Underground. It's still Killer Kross.
Basically, yeah.
They just changed his first name. So we go from one pay-per-view to another. WWE Backlash this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the WWE Network. You will be at the Performance Center with Performance Center athletes as a crowd.
You liking that still?
I do. I have the one thing, and I brought this up with Simon Miller from What Culture last week during the show. You had a few that, like, for instance, on a couple shots, you saw Chelsea Green in the crowd, and I think I'm pretty sure WWE is trying hard not to focus on who's in the crowd. I mean, it's kind of hard not to, especially if you see like Shotzi Blackheart with her bright green hair. But Chelsea Green in there just as random fan. I don't know. I couldn't really make it. I mean, Simon understood me, but it was just odd to see her in that light there. But then you turn around, see her as the character Chelsea Green on NXT.
Is it really?
A little bit.
Wait,
maybe I'm just overthinking it. So.
Yeah, man. This no offense, but you're the guy that has seen thousands and thousands of independent matches that have chilled with other wrestlers, watching other wrestlers wrestle.
Yeah, but they're not on TV.
I understand that, but
and they're not trying to maintain continuity.
You've seen them outside of television. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like she's just playing. She's getting paid to play a role.
It's a different game. But I may
she's
be
getting
wrong.
paid to play a fan.
Like I said, I may be wrong.
So is that like breaking the fourth wall for you or something?
I'm trying to go forward, and you keep sticking to something.
I'm just trying to figure you out, man.
Well, no.
This is a show about opinions.
Don't get in this head. Too many. The card for Backlash looks like this. You've got Jeff Hardy, who I think the angle with him, it was Elias in the car wreck, and they had to pull Jeff Hardy. He was in the bushes, and he smelled of alcohol. I didn't like the way they did that, but oh well. I assume Jeff Hardy gave them their blessing. Anyway, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus will battle. I'm thinking it'll be Jeff Hardy, but then again, Sheamus just came back too. So
I was going to say, I really don't know how much of. I would really like to know how much Jeff Hardy had to say on that angle, if he had any say of it at all, because it doesn't sound like he would.
I wouldn't think so. I don't know. I'm not a big fan when they do stuff like that.
I know, that's why.
Yeah.
I was just like, it still kind of rubs me the wrong way. So, he probably still wins just because they're trying to push him.
Yeah, that's my guess. It seems like they want to push Hardy more than they want to push Sheamus. And maybe because Sheamus can recover from a loss like that easier. I don't know. Apollo Crews will defend the United States Championship against Andrade. Andrade pinned his, I guess we call it a stablemate, Angel Garza on Raw.
Cousins.
Well, they are cousins.
In real life too.
No, I thought it was Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo were cousins.
Are they?
I thought so. I thought that was the connection.
That's their cousins?
Yeah.
Are they primos? I don't recall. Now, see,
so anyway,
I'm confused.
See?
Now
there you go.
I'm going to have to look this up.
I really hope they keep the title on Apollo Crews. He just won it.
It's just a prop.
And Andrade doesn't need it. So
you sure? You think he's going to be lined up for a Universal title shot eventually?
If he moves to SmackDown, sure.
Or a
maybe
world title shot?
I don't know. I just want to see Apollo Crews with the title for a little longer.
Well, who's
than 3 weeks?
Besides Bobby Lashley, who do you think is in the hunt for the heavyweight title?
Dadgummit, now you ask me. I know there's somebody.
I mean, it's a legit question to even the fans out there, because who else are they going to build up for Drew McIntyre to face?
True.
Because if it's not going to be somebody like Andrade, and I really don't feel like at this point he would have a chance to beat Drew McIntyre for the belt.
No.
But if you're going to take the United States title off, which is essentially the Intercontinental Championship, that tells me that you're supposed to get pushed into the main events.
You're supposed to. So, by the way, allegedly there's a rumor that they're going to redesign the U.S. title.
I definitely could use a change.
It could. It's been around for a while.
In
a triple threat match, what?
You never liked the original NWA USA?
I love that one. I love that one. The one that Dusty and Lex Luger would wear. Yes.
But I even like the one that WCW had in the 90s.
WCW one was good. Yeah.
It was simplistic, but it got the job done.
Yeah. In a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, the new champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, defending against Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Iconics.
You mean Bayley Dostraps?
Bayley Dostraps.
Is that going to be on a T-shirt?
Oh God! If it's not, they are failing.
But is it the same moneymaker as Becky 2 belts?
No, because Becky is so much more over. In my mind.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, she was on top. She left on top.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, it seems like people are kind of giving Bayley the Rock treatment, and not that high praise, but getting there, because now they're starting. I don't know
what you're listening to.
I think they're starting to understand that, hey, she's actually pretty good.
I think she's still got a ways to go, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think the haircut helped.
If Banks and Bayley do not keep the titles, I could easily see the Iconics getting them back, but they're not. They're gonna stay with Banks and Bailey. Asuka defending the Raw Women's title against Nia Jax. My guess is Asuka because Charlotte Flair will be waiting in the wings.
I would still like to see that match.
Yeah, well, it's a good rivalry. At first I was a little worried that they would use that one a lot. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a good rivalry. It spans brands. So yeah, I'm good with that. So
it's kind of funny how things sometimes work out where she's a really great talent, but the scene was a little muddled at the top of the card, so she held on to the belt, made the tag team championships interesting. Then this whole COVID thing, she became one of the star players, and now she was rewarded when fate called, essentially, because her time was to shine. That's
true. That's very true. In what's got to be the silliest match, at least on this card, in a handicap match, Braun Strowman will defend the Universal title against Miz and Morrison. I would say if Miz or Morrison pins him, who gets the title? But why should we worry? That's not going to happen.
No,
Braun's keeping the title.
We've already went over this last week too, Stu. It's going to be a lay cool situation where they're both going to be champion, and it's going to be glorious. It's going to be awesome. Wrong character.
Yeah, wrong. Where is Robert Roode?
Where in the world?
Creative has nothing for you. Braun's keeping the title. They're going to bring back the Fiend, and then they'll give it to the Fiend, and then I'll cut some more.
Well, they still got a lot of those authentic replica belts that they have.
Yeah, for $7,000. We mentioned Drew McIntyre taking on Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. MVP will be in Bobby Lashley's corner. Will we see shenanigans from Lana?
I wasn't thinking about shenanigans from Lana, but I was thinking it wasn't going to be a clean finish. Like, there was going to be a DQ of some sort.
I could see that.
And it's not necessary. And I think it's just because not to muddle the reign of Drew McIntyre necessarily, but to just keep this feud going, because we've already asked that question earlier. Who else is lined up? And this looks like a feud that has some legs. They're making Lashley look really strong right now, where he deserves to be.
And they need to. And I've said before, I love the pairing of MVP and Bobby Lashley. Yeah. I liked it in Impact. I think it works now.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks good.
But at the same time, maybe that's one of those things that's working because we don't have a crowd.
That's true. And that's the way all the last few months of pay-per-views have been. You wonder, would some of these storylines work with an audience?
Because let's admit that those wrestlers
with an audience of actual fans, not Performance Center athletes.
Yeah, because those Performance Center athletes are told who to boo and who to cheer.
Yes, allegedly they were using the loudspeaker in the Performance Center to get them to pump up more and get rowdy more. And finally, what will likely end the night in the greatest wrestling match ever: Edge versus Randy Orton.
So is this going to be a real match?
I have no idea.
Or you think this is going to be cinematic? Because this sounds like it's going to be cinematic.
I've heard 1,000 rumors.
Which is the closest one to your heart?
I do subscribe to the one that says it has been taped already.
Okay.
I don't know what they have entailed in it. I still don't get why this tagline, because I don't think it'll be the greatest wrestling match this week in WWE. Because, like you, I'm kind of leaning towards either the triple threat with the women in NXT or one of the other matches.
But maybe that's the point, Stu. It's like,
so is this supposed to be a joke?
Maybe.
I don't see WWE doing that though.
Really? They're slowly starting to morph and change their approaches, and this sounds like one of those opportunities, like where that could happen. It doesn't seem like this is supposed to be taken extremely serious.
Well, but they've certainly been treating it like that with the promos. You know, you had Christian doing the peep show with Edge and Edge all series, and you got legends giving their take on the match, and it seems like they're taking it pretty seriously to me.
Maybe I'm the only one that's having real fun with it then, because
maybe
I'm not
Seth Rollins is coming up with the tagline. So anyway, that is WWE Backlash.
What's the deal with having to have like best in the world, best match ever in the last couple of years as storylines, right? You don't remember Shane McMahon?
I know.
Best in the world?
Yeah, I know. And that one...
partially true.
No. Anyway, it's Backlash this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. I'm sure there'll be a pre-show. We have not heard about a pre-show match yet.
Would you care if there's a pre-show match?
No. But anyway, whatever transpires, it will be on the WWE Network. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from this timeout, one half of the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga himself, will join us. He's going to talk about Tama's Island and a few other things regarding New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's coming up next. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn.
This is Juice Robinson, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Of course, Monday night, Tuesday morning, whether you're in the U.S. or Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling announced their return. And whenever I think of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think, some of the incredible stars and tag teams, including the multiple-time tag team champions, Gorillas of Destiny. One half of that tag team joins me now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. He's got a new podcast called Tama's Island. And, of course, you can get it wherever you get your podcast. He is the good bad guy, Tama Tonga. Follow him on Twitter at Tama_Tonga. Tama, how are things in the Sunshine State?
Dude, what's up, baby? Hey, it's hot. We're in summertime now, man, and it's nice and hot. It's beautiful weather. This is my type of weather, man. It's brown people weather right here.
You're right. It is hot here in Texas. We're supposed to hit 100 today, so summertime has definitely hit. So I think I'd almost rather be in Florida. At least you got the ocean by you. So did you guys get much rain or anything out of that storm system a few days ago?
We did. We had like 4 or 5 days straight of rain, and what's today? Today is Tuesday. Sunday was the last day. So yesterday it was clear. Today was clear. So it's been a nice couple of days.
I bet. Yeah, that's the thing. You're on the side that got all the weather. We're on the side that all we got was hot and dry temperatures. So I get you. Let's start with the podcast. What inspired you to decide to do a podcast?
To be honest, Stu, the fans. We were going to throw the Bullet Club Beach Party down in Tampa, and because of the whole pandemic, we had to cancel. And there was a lot of people that donated their money to us instead of taking a refund. And Stu, I was just so grateful for it that I hit them all up and I said, hey, let's all get together for a Zoom session on Friday night, and we just we'll have some drinks and just chat, and just wanted to just thank them personally. And it was such a success that Friday, and then we got together again the following Friday, and then the Friday after that, and it just kind of rolled in. And there were so many questions about my personal life and wrestling, my career, that's how it formed, was because of them. And it was just to generalize and cover all their questions, and Tama's Island was born.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the episodes. You and Ross Berman do a fantastic job. I heard today's episode, which was you and Luke Gallows, and I mean, just some of the stories that was, and you could also hear how much reverence Luke has for your father, Haku, and that seems to be across the wrestling industry. Is how many people just revere your dad. I mean, talk about just being able to chat with your Bullet Club brother there, and with them getting ready to make their next move after being released by WWE. Just talk about how much fun that was to kind of chop it up with Luke.
Well, besides the the booze adding heightened interesting fun to that, it was good to catch up. We kind of I called him just to say hello, and we were just chatting and having a few drinks, and we just decided to go ahead and do the podcast there at midnight. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun after midnight.
Oh, I bet. Absolutely. I can only agree. What was the drink of choice that night for you?
I think he had. This is how crazy. He had red wine and also whiskey, Jack Daniels mixed. I was on White Claw and red wine. Red wine is our drink of choice. Our common drink of choice there.
Okay. I love a good red wine, whether it's a good Cabernet or some of the others. That's any good dry. Now, do you go dry or not so dry?
I go not so dry.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like to leave a little water in my body.
Absolutely. I get it. Talk for a second. There was another episode that you had where you talked about, and I didn't know this until I heard this, that you served in the Air Force. And you,
I did.
Yeah. Now you worked on a specific aircraft, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I worked in the B-2 stealth bomber.
B-2s.
Yep.
That's right. And what captured me, because of course I'm an Army vet myself. And the funny thing is, you and I both had our tech trainings at Air Force bases in Texas. You were at Dias up in Wichita Falls. I was at Goodfellow in San Angelo because I was a Russian linguist. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. You're up in North Texas. I was in West Texas. Mm-hmm. And you talk. I had to laugh. The talk about the bus ride. You did your basic training in San Antonio. I assume that was. Oh, which one was it? There's like 2 or 3 bases in San Antonio.
Oh boy, they're gonna kill me for this one.
Heck, I'm not
in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm an hour away and I can't. Yeah, I'm an hour away and I can't think of it. But you did a bus ride from San Antonio to Wichita Falls, and now I've driven that before because now Wichita Falls is the home of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and so I've driven up there because we do shows up there every year, and that is. I mean, even for someone like me that is used to driving in Texas, that's not just a hop, skip, and a jump. So I can only imagine how crazy it was for you to ride in a bus with a bunch of, graduated trainees from San Antonio to Wichita Falls. What was, I mean, just talk about, for a second, just give me the most vivid memory of the bus ride.
It was Lackland. There you go. Lackland,
yes. Yes.
It took me a second there. But, Stu, I was just so eager to leave Lackland. I wanted to get away from boot camp. It was, I think anybody who did boot camp was just ready to get out of there. And just the eagerness to see what the next phase was. And it was so early in the morning. That's something that you're used to, waking up to do physical training. So, it was a lot of just eager anticipation of what's next. I was looking forward to getting out and seeing what oh my goodness, I'm about to start. This is my journey. This is the next step. Get me the hell out of boot camp. That was it. But it was a long drive. I think I don't know if I slept any because I was just ready to see what the next stage was. But whew.
Yeah.
That day was infamous.
I know that feeling, and sadly, Wichita Falls. unlike San Antonio, Wichita Falls and San Angelo are very similar because it's basically the Air Force Base and the college. It's Midwestern State in Wichita Falls, and of course Angelo State in San Angelo. So that's all there was to the towns, you know. So, and sadly, that's the same thing today. So, let me ask you this before we transition to a couple other things. You were serving. In fact, you had mentioned about how when you got to Dias and you were getting processed in for your tech training. That was right at 9/11, and I served about a decade before. But just talk about your time at Dias Air Force Base and then your service in the Air Force around 9/11, because we're now, we're getting it's getting close to almost 20 years since then. So just reflect back on what it meant to you to give of your life to the Air Force during one of the craziest and most significant times in our history.
Getting in at that time, especially that day, I came in at a heightened state of emergency. So I didn't know what it was before that. From my understanding, it was very chill. When you're not at war, everything's very lax, And so my first day over there at Dias at Wichita was a state of emergency. We were being attacked. So that state of emergency was my new normal. That was my normal. So it was, I just had to adapt to the new way, which I just, to me, it was just the way it was. And, man, to be truthful with you, Stu, I loved it. I loved it. I loved being a part of it. I was a part of something. There was a goal. There was, there's so much to the military that a lot of people don't know, not just, fighting for your country, working for your country, but meeting the people from all over the world, from wherever, any American citizen from all parts of America was there. And I was able to make friends that I still have to this day. The whole experience itself, 6 years, that's a solid, time of your life to spend doing something in one place, which was there in Central Missouri. I really enjoyed it. At the time, I was like, I just didn't know because I was young and just, young, dumb, and full of piss and vinegar, And now looking back, I really enjoyed it and loved my time and really appreciative of everything that I've learned. So, I thought if it was me, man, I'd make everybody come out of high school and go in the military, do some time, like they do in Israel.
I've heard that a few times, and believe me, and I get the whole thing about you didn't really know the difference because you were there when it happened, as opposed to maybe somebody like me that had served before. So I saw the shift, and it was it was very very eye opening. I can tell you that. Talking with Tama Tonga from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Follow him on Twitter at Tama_Tonga, and again his podcast Tama's Island, available on all podcast platforms. Plus, you have a Patreon where fans can subscribe and they get special benefits. So fans, you can check that out. Let's talk for a second about New Japan. They made the announcement. They're coming back starting on June 15th. They're going to run, they've got that one night, the Together special project. And then they're going to run the New Japan Cup, with no fans in attendance. And then July, I believe is 11 and 12 is going to be Dominion with fans in attendance. I mean, how excited are you? Because we have the last New Japan show was the end of February. So how excited are you to get back at it? And you and Tonga Loa, you still got your sights on those tag belts.
That's right. You're right. I'm very excited that we even opened up, and there is now, light at the end of the tunnel, and we know the date that's going to happen. And it just to see that and know that we're no longer in the dark is just okay. Here we go. We're rolling. It's slow, but we're starting. So as long as we start, that's all that matters. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to catch up on. Tag belts, singles run, whatever.
Yeah, you got a couple of Bullet Club mates in the New Japan Cup, and of course the winner of that will get a shot at both the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles being held by Tetsuya Naito. I know probably a little bit of bias, but give me your pick in who's going to win the cup.
Oh,
I know Ishimori's in there, and which is kind of neat because they're letting junior heavyweights compete in this where they haven't before.
Right. I can't pick. I can't pick anybody else. I can't pick anybody else. That's no matter what. I gotta stay true to my people. I can't pick anybody else.
That's true. I wouldn't expect anything less. He is Tama Tonga, one half of the Gorillas of Destiny. Follow him on Twitter at Tama_Tonga. I'll get that straight. Hey, by the way, I was just thinking about this because, of course, you and I and Tonga Loa, got to have a great time in Miami during Super Bowl week this past year. You know that the Super Bowl will be in Tampa Bay next year. I'm just thinking, there's a lot of parties that happen during Super Bowl week. Bullet Club, I bet you they could get a pretty good following if they do a Super Bowl beach party.
Oh, baby. Hey.
And it's in your backyard. It's in your, I'm just saying, it's in your backyard right there.
That's true.
Believe me,
okay.
I'll skip.
All right, Stu. I think you're onto something here.
I'll believe me, I'll skip one of those highfalutin ones to come out and party with the Bullet Club.
That's what I'm talking about.
So just saying, we may have to talk offline about that. Hey, Tama, it is so good to talk to you. Hey, by the way, how's your family? How's everybody doing during this crazy pandemic thing?
Yeah, everybody's good. Thank you, Stu. They're all good. They're safe. Everybody's healthy, and we're staying safe, man. And I hope everybody out there is too. So it looks like things are opening up, and they're starting to let some things happen. But still, hopefully, everybody still stays safe, stay healthy, and let's get rocking and rolling now.
Absolutely. Tama Tonga, thank you so much for your time. All the best to you and everybody, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Stu.
Always good to catch up with Tama Tonga from the Gorillas of Destiny, and as we'll go over the next segment, getting ready to see the stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling get back in the ring here real soon. Hopefully that will include the Gorillas. See if they can capture those IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles for, I believe this will be number 7 if they get them. So, but all the best to them, and catch Tama's Island on your favorite podcast provider. As I mentioned, we will go over New Japan Pro Wrestling's return after this break. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn.
This is Tanahashi, and you are listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Aishimasu!
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons.
Still surprises me so much that you got a reader from Tanahashi, like the legend, like a guy that's a living legend, guy who saved New Japan.
To this day, I'm still surprised that there was nobody in line to talk to him.
That's just this guy was, he set the bar so high. He's the one in a generation talent.
Yes, the ace. Well, this will tell you, he is still so important to New Japan. He was at the table with the chairman of New Japan Pro Wrestling on what would be Monday night our time. It was Tuesday morning their time when they made their announcement that New Japan Pro Wrestling is returning to live action. what they announced, so they will have events starting on June 15th. So that will be next Monday. I believe it will be a Sunday our time, Sunday night our time, or it might be Monday morning our time. Starting June 15th, they will do be featured in a Together Project special. The matches will be announced that evening by the ring announcer. By the way, that event and the events up through July 3rd, no fans in attendance. All the events will be streamed live on NJPW World. June 16th, they will start the New Japan Cup, which was supposed to happen, I want to say it was maybe a couple months ago. Maybe it was March.
April, May?
I think it may have been March or April, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
I lost track of time.
Yeah, you, me both. New Japan Cup will commence June 16th with first round matches. By the way, usually the New Japan Cup, you only see heavyweight wrestlers.
Yeah.
This one, you're going to have heavyweights and junior heavyweights.
So does that mean there's going to be no? I got tongue tied there, but there's not going to be any Junior J Cup. This Best Super Juniors, you mean? I would think they may do that later in the year. Okay.
That would be my guess as I'm pulling up.
Just because it's really one of their staples. And and one of the main reasons why Rey Mysterio, who's going to have a big thing going into Backlash, is one of the best in the world.
First round matchups, and I'm just going to hit a few. You've got Ishii taking on El Desperado. Honma taking on Hiromu Takahashi, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Okada gets his hands on Gato.
Oh, okay. That's going to be fun. I want to see how this turns out.
Some of them may want to notify Gato's next kin. Yuji Nagata will take on Minoru Suzuki. Gabriel Kidd will take on Taiji Ishimori. We mentioned Hiroshi Tanahashi. He'll take on Taiji. Here's an interesting one. Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Ooh.
First round.
Ah, man.
And the winner gets the winner of Tanahashi and Taichi.
Jeez.
So, you could have the current tag team champions facing each other. Because right now, remember, Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi are the current IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team champions.
I was just about to say, I would love to see them go at it, though.
Oh, it'd be fun.
I was going to say, that would be one of those match possible stealers of the night.
Easily.
I was like, that would be so cool.
That I would call the greatest wrestling match ever.
I don't know if it would be the greatest wrestling match ever, but
it got a better chance than Orton and
Are you
Edge.
Sure? I mean, maybe Edge really was saving for something else in the tank here, where he pulls out something amazing.
Let's see. Sonata will take on Taguchi. Takagi will take on Sho. Yo will take on Bushi. So you've got Roppongi 3K taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón. Let's see what else. Goto and Yujiro Takahashi. That's a first round matchup. I mean, there's some really interesting matchups.
Well, I'm glad they're coming out strong.
Yeah.
After this long layoff, so it'll be good to see them back in action. That's for sure.
So the first round, which will be in each of these nights, you'll have the 4 first round cup matches plus a special match. Will take place June 16th, 17th, 22nd, 23rd. Again, no fans in attendance. June 24th and July 1st. You'll see the second round, again, 4 matches each, plus special match. July 3rd will be the semifinals. And then July 11th and 12th, we will have Dominion at Osaka-jo Hall. Fans will be in attendance. They will open up to 1/3 capacity. On July 11th, the finals of the New Japan Cup will happen. The winner of the New Japan Cup the following night will face Tetsuya Naito for both the heavyweight and intercontinental titles.
What? Okay.
Both belts.
Nice. Okay.
One match, both belts.
I'm totally down with that. Totally down.
July 12th. It's Dominion, so I'm sure there will be a bunch of other great matches over 2 nights.
I don't think Naito deserves to lose yet.
I hope not.
I was going to say, I need to see a proper run.
Yeah, he barely. I mean, it was going to be last we saw was Kenta was going to face him.
Yeah.
And then everything got shut down. So,
but that's why I'm saying it's like, oh, okay, he hasn't really even had a chance. They don't seem like the type of organization that would just pull the rug out of him so quickly.
True.
But you just never know. You just never know.
You never know. So anyway, so that's the start of New Japan Pro Wrestling's return. They have already started administering antibody tests to the wrestlers, ring crew, front office staff, trainers, everybody. So that's good.
And are these?
They are testing.
Are these going to be taped live? You said
they are streamed live on NJPW World.
Okay.
My guess there will be English commentary, which means our good friend Kevin Kelly will be back to work.
So no pre-records like what we've seen here on American television.
No, this will be they have no American TV outlet.
No, I mean American wrestling.
Right.
Organization.
No, this is it's going to be live on the NJPW World, which means you'll likely have to get up at like 3 a.m.
Nice
to watch it. But
catch the replay.
At least a few of these, that might be worth it. Or catch, like you said, catch the replay because they'll have the replay. So anyway, another sign things are getting back to the good spot. New Japan back in action, and couldn't happen any sooner. So
I was going to ask you, talking about wrestling organizations, how was your return to AAPW?
I meant to say that. Thanks to everybody at AAPW. Had a great time. Sat in on commentary with Eli Freeman, young man that is doing some commentary for him. So it was fun. Got to see our good friend Steve Areno. By the way, Steve Areno is going to join us next week.
Nice.
On the show. So congratulations, El Rayo. He defeated Rob the Builder and Christopher Black to unify their titles, so he now holds all the titles in AAPW.
Oh, okay, good deal.
So yeah, all in all, it was a fun night. It was just good to be back around a ring. So huge thanks to Ray Campos and Steve and everybody at AAPW for having me. It was a lot of fun. So they've got an event coming up on the 20th, on June 20th. So make sure you keep your eyes out. Check them out on Facebook, probably the best way to find them. Okay. And you'll see some details on that show. That'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We're proud to be the official broadcast partner of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we're proud to be part of the great lineup you hear every day. On the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns, we are The Horn. Catch us Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central on The Horn, 104.9 AM 1260, or catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com and click on the on-air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast platform. Our thanks to Tama Tonga for joining us, and our thanks to you for giving us a little bit of your time tonight. For Justin, I'm Stu. We will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night.